Unsolved.
The DNA versus the Ramseys.
Well, Governor, I think you're a reasonable man, and you, I have no reason to believe that you don't want to do the right thing. And the right thing is to move this case ahead. It can't be done if it stays in the auspices of the Boulder Police. They're just not capable. And that's not a criticism of their skills. The criticism is that they refuse help from people that do have the skills.
First, I want to say I'm in favor of more DNA testing. I think that's great. I think they should focus on the touch DNA that was on her clothes. However, I don't think people realize it's not as simple as they think, and they're going to get results they're not expecting. So this video is more to explain the DNA and the DNA testing and what I think is going to happen. In 1997, DNA testing was done under both Jonbenet's right and left hand fingernails and on a blood drop on her underwear. That testing revealed that the major contributor of DNA was Jonbenet Ramsey. And then there was a trace of unknown male DNA. Then in 2008, touch DNA testing was done on the long johns and on the Barbie nightgown. And the long johns, it was done in 4 different places. And the testing was done on a drop of blood on the Barbie nightgown. There wasn't enough DNA recovered from the fingernails or the underwear in 1997 to say the samples matched. That round of testing basically used up the fingernail samples. In 2003, an STR profile referred to as Unknown Male 1 was developed from the underwear. In 2008, the long johns were tested. The Unknown Male 1 profile couldn't be excluded from one side of the long johns and couldn't be included or excluded from the other side of the long johns. Analysis, however, noted that neither profile should be considered a single source profile. That 2003 Unknown Male 1 could be the DNA from 2 men, 2 separate, and they're reading it like it's one man. Therefore, they'll never find that person because that person doesn't exist. The next issue is if they find someone that matches the touch DNA, that doesn't mean that they're the killer. That touch DNA, the skin cells, could have come from anywhere. And I'll go more into detail who that might be. Jonbenet was in the long johns once she was on the floor in the basement, which was a carpet. And then she was wrapped in the white blanket. Then she was taken upstairs, placed on the floor in the living room. And then John Ramsey threw a blanket over her and a Colorado Avalanche sweatshirt. The blanket placed over Jonbenet's body in the living room was not the white blanket. You can see the crime scene photo with the white blanket and the pink Barbie nightgown down in the wine cellar. The blanket thrown on her was a throw towel over a chair, and it was not white. It was a dark color. The point of this is the touch DNA is basically skin cells. So there could be an innocent reason that they are there. So you really need to know who that person is before you can determine if there's a sinister reason for them being there. So, for example, if they come back Fleet White or Fleet White's son, then I feel he would be innocent, because Fleet White was over there the day they found Jonbenet's body, and he had been over the Ramseys' house many times. So that throw blanket, the living room floor, all those places could have his skin cells. And for the same reason, John Fernie. If that touch DNA comes back John Fernie or his son, then it's a totally innocent reason for that. It has to be somebody that wouldn't be in the Ramsey house. And so I listed 4 or 5 different people here that I feel that it would be compelling evidence if the touch DNA comes back to one of these individuals. The last 2 individuals, Michael and Stuart Walker, I haven't really talked much about. Stuart Walker is the person that the Ramseys dropped off a gift on their way home on Christmas night, and I might do an episode on him. Well, this ends this episode of Unsolved, and tomorrow night we'll take a look at the Zodiac Killer Case again, and I got some good information. See you tomorrow.